Just because you've been issued a $25,000 ticket for violating Nova Scotia's fire or woods restrictions doesn't necessarily mean you'll pay that full amount. The fine was put in place to prevent wildfires like the one that started here near Susie Lake in Halifax. But what happens after someone is issued a ticket? Sure, you can pay the full amount, including taxes and fees, but there are other options. The first alternative is to challenge the ticket in court by filing a notice of intention to appear before the due date on the ticket and plead not guilty. It would then go to trial before a provincial court judge and be prosecuted. Another option would be to file a notice of intention to appear, plead guilty, and ask to make submissions about the penalty. A judge would hear the case and decide on the penalty. A prosecutor would be there to represent the public's interests, confirm the facts, and respond to submissions about the penalty. The judge does have some discretion on what penalty will be imposed, whether it can be paid in installments, and the amount of time the offender has to pay a fine. But it depends on the context of the case.
Given all the considerations and the ongoing fight against wildfires in Nova Scotia, a judge would probably say, well, sorry, but this has to happen. This fine is right for the context, therefore it stands. I'm not going to lower it. But in a different context, and depending on what the individual says, if they appear in court and explain their financial situation, a judge may take that into consideration as well and drop the fine. But again, very much case-by-case basis.
The third option isn't exactly a good one. If you do not pay the ticket by the due date or start any kind of court challenge, you may receive an automatic conviction. And it's never a good idea to simply ignore your ticket.
That's a rather naive approach to take, because if you do not pay the fine and if you do not challenge it in court, then you could be arrested and you could then have a criminal record for not paying it.
The $25,000 fine for violating burn restrictions was made permanent in May 2025. So make sure to check the province's daily burn restriction map before starting a fire, so it doesn't end up being a very expensive one. Thomson, CBC News, Halifax.